All right, guys, like I've been talking about all show, been waiting on Superman himself to get in studio. If you know anything about dirt racing, this man needs no introduction. But those of you NASCAR fans who don't know much about dirt racing, we have arguably the best guy on dirt in the last 5 years joining us right here in studio, making his Cup Series debut for the number 13 College Chevrolet, Mr. Jonathan Davenport.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's couple twists and turns to get here, but I finally made it.
I sent him a bad Google Maps pin. Apparently, it had him in Timbuktu, but we got her straightened out.
Yeah, definitely. I knew I was going down the wrong path, and luckily I didn't go to the end and turned around and tried something different.
We talk a lot about here, obviously, about Kyle Larson winning because he wins about every damn week. But usually when we talk about Kyle Larson running second or third in a late model race, it's usually behind you. And I was doing some quick math before he jumped in studio. Do you know what your win percentage is over the last, or how many races it takes per victory of the last 2 years?
No clue.
3.3. So if you race 3.3 races, you're winning one of them. That's how dominant you've been the last couple of years, buddy. What the hell do you expect coming to the Cup Series? How did all that come together with Colin?
Well, just through my sponsor, Nutrient Ag Solutions. They've been a long supporter of mine, and I got a great guy there with Steve Martin, and this was kind of his whole idea. And he just dreamed it up one day, really. And then I actually tried to talk him out of it at first.
Why?
Well, we kind of got cross-threaded, and I thought he was talking about last year. And it was like coming up in just a couple weeks. I'm like, yeah. I have no time to get ready. Like, I'm not ready for this.
So what are you going to do to get ready? Or what have you done? Because we're racing this week.
Yeah. Well, since I seen you last time, I've probably lost 20, 25 pounds. So luckily, I'm down to fighting weight. And the way y'all guys rough each other up. I mean,
did you watch Coda?
Dude, you're gonna fit right. Hey, you're gonna fit right in though.
I'm telling you, if you did all that where I'm at, somebody come out with a black eye and a fat lip.
Well, yeah, because you guys are grown men working on your own cars. We're a bunch of kids smash into each other.
Well,
I wouldn't say that.
Model is much more delicate than what a cup car is too.
That's
right?
true. You can't smash fenders with somebody.
No.
And also, the damn walls and most of the places you race against are about 8 inches high with all dirt packed up on them.
Yeah, and sometimes we just jump over them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's a little more dangerous.
It is.
Yeah, I found it interesting 2 years ago, I guess it was, when we went to Volusia with Logano. We built that dirt modified, and he had mentioned kind of in passing, like, oh, it's Jonathan Davenport. I used to race with him quite a bit. And I was like, what? I didn't know that you ran, like, legend cars at Atlanta and had, an ASA background, definitely did some asphalt racing. So, like, what is your background, and did you ever have NASCAR aspirations before, landing running dirt late models full time?
Sure. I was just a kid from North Georgia, that grew up watching Dale Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott was in my hometown. He lived there for a while. I'd see him. So, yeah, I mean, that's the direction I wanted to go. But run a lot of asphalt, run against some guys that are in Cup and is already gone. But I thought my time had passed by, really. My dad took me as far as he could, money-wise. When we got to asphalt late model stuff, really didn't have a lot of help, and it was just me and him. And then I did get a little bit of help from another sponsor, but I just never did really get it or get enough help to go to the next level in that. So he basically ran out of money, and then we started running on dirt, and it's been that way ever since.
Now, y'all don't misunderstand that this guy, if he didn't just make it as a Cup driver, he ain't making no money. This guy won over $2 million in purse money last year. Won the million at Eldora. 5-time winner of World 100s. So you can make a pretty dang good living doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I feel like I can. I mean, it's been really nice. Obviously you got to run good to do it, but I've got a great team with Lance Landers Motorsports, and my guys are, bar none, the best, I feel like, and they put me in great equipment. And we've been fortunate enough to get the job done on numerous occasions.
What's it like the upload process? You get the call, okay, we're doing it. You're in town, back and forth, North Georgia, getting your baseline concussion test, doing a physical. Like, what's just like the last week or so been to prepare?
Wide open. Like I just, I've been gone trying to race a little bit. We built a new car at Longhorn, and just trying to run back and forth, like you said, doing tests that I'm not normally having to do, and going through a lot of procedures, trying to fit in one of these things. I'm a pretty big dude. You're about the same size as I am. It's not really easy to get in and out of them. So it was different. And then I got the call for the truck deal. They thought that would be a good practice for me. So Nutrient Ag stepped up and we put all that stuff together. So then I had to go do all that also. So it was a lot of running back and forth from South Carolina to North Carolina the past couple of weeks.
Man, and the truck shop, driving the Spire 7 truck, which is pretty cool. That shop's in Troutman, and Winston-Salem's about an hour and 20 minutes away. And you live, 2.5 hours from here, too?
Yep.
Man, doing a lot of driving this week.
I'm sure he gets enough windshield time throughout the year going back
No
and forth.
doubt.
Wheatland, Missouri, and everywhere
One there this past weekend. And then he said, my man,
that place nice.
Says he's running Bulls Gap on, Thursday night?
Yep.
Larson promoting that show?
He is, yep. I wouldn't start off, I wasn't going to run it. I was going to take my time and get really prepared. But when you got Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, I think Chase Briscoe said he's going to run there. I mean, I can't let them come in my playground and not be there with them.
That's
right.
That's a great point. Clint Boyer owned a team, and Kyle Larson goes and runs, and Corey's pretty, well embedded in the short track scene with building seats and all that. Is there guys that are at the Cup level that you've talked to daily that we wouldn't think of?
I would say daily. Obviously me and Kyle's talked a little bit. Talked to Ricky Stenthouse. He's pretty cool. Just like me and Corey may, in passing, talk to one another or send each other a text message every now and then.
Bitch about how your seat fits. Can't
Exactly.
get one the same as usually the term.
There ain't many guys that I'll get off the couch for and dial in, but JD's one of them.
He does. He comes and fixes me up whenever I call. So, yeah, but, I mean, I got some friends over there that I feel like I can lean on a little bit. So, maybe we'll see. What's
that thing? Because you won last year at Bristol. It was a World of Outlaw race. What do you like? How is that thing going to drive different? You obviously haven't driven a Cup car yet, but do you have any expectations of what to expect of what a Cup car is compared to that dirt late model?
It's going to be totally different. I'm sure there's nothing that's going to really help me. I wouldn't say. I don't know. Obviously I've got the dirt experience and I've ran Bristol at dirt, but so has the Cup guys now a couple times, as many as I have. So I don't know that my dirt experience really is going to trump how many times you run a Cup car or the other guys. I don't think so, but obviously I can tell when the lane's going to change just as fast or faster than anybody. But if my dirt experience is going to be that far subpar, I mean, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ricky Stenthouse ought to be, running top three, half a lap ahead. So it's definitely going to even the playing field a lot.
Yeah, you look at the two guys that have won this race. They're Cup regulars, not two guys that you would think of when you stand out dirt guys as far as Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. But I hope it doesn't rain, and I hope you get some lap times. But the truck race is definitely going to help. That's why you've seen guys like Martin Truex, Joey, Chase run those before. What are your expectations for the weekend?
I really don't have any expectations. Really, it's just so unknown. I'm like I said, the only expectation I know is I know what the racetrack's going to do. Other than that, I don't know how the car's going to drive versus the truck. I look at it as almost taking an asphalt driver and taking them to Eldora, let them run the same night, but let them get in a sprint car and let them get in a late model.
Yeah.
It's two totally different things, but you're on the same racetrack.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that learning curve ain't too long.
I'm glad I'm talking to you before the race. You watched COTA? You watched Richmond?
No, I didn't watch COTA. I did watch a little bit of Richmond.
Let me give you a little – I'm going to ask you for a tip, but I'm going to give you one first.
All right.
Do the smashing first and don't get smashed into. Because if you initiate the smashing, nobody's going to mess with you. And then they're going to get out and be like, oh, man, this guy he's got a damn beard. Nobody else has a solid beard like that anymore in the Cup Series. So don't be scared to smash into people because they're not going to be scared to smash into you.
He says that this is coming from a guy that smashed into people. That's why I pointed at himself there.
I'm your buddy, and I'm going to smash into you just a second to smash into you. That's how it works.
Yeah. That's just, that's the biggest unknown that I feel like going into it is y'all race totally different than I do. I haven't entered on somebody's bumper in 20 years. I mean, our cars, y'all talk about air and dirty air and this. What, you drive a dirt late model.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a big fin. We got huge front end. I've got to set up a pass when I'm 3 car lengths behind the guy. I can't enter on somebody's bumper. So that's going to be totally different for me going up and hitting somebody or even getting close to them. If I get to their side, usually I'm so loose, I just go ahead and let off and let them go on, just because of side force. But
how much has that, like, what was the trend, or when did that shift with dirt racing when they got super aero dependent and those platforms got real right front down, left rear up? Like, when did that start to progress?
Probably around the 2013, 14, 15 era, right in there. Like we kind of figured it out in 14, and in 15, me and Kevin done a lot of stuff. And
I remember
Kevin
the
Rumley.
pictures of like 3 shocks on the left rear or whatever.
Yeah,
Everybody was
so-
freaking out about that thing.
yeah, we figured out, obviously, if we want to be tighter in the corner, that big blade we got to get it higher.
Mm-hmm.
So once we
That's
got
free.
it,
That's free grip there.
once we got that higher, we got to get it up there all the time.
Yeah.
So then we do that, we're knocking a bigger hole in the air, and the car behind us is way looser.
Yeah.
So
What is something cool? Because you guys can get creative. There's a bit of a rule book in dirt racing, but not near as long as what we have to adhere to. What are some cool little dirt tricks that kind of got outlawed that Kevin was he was on the cutting edge of technology? Droop chains or shocks, or
yeah,
Ryan mentioned 3 shocks on the left rear.
yeah, we was doing all kinds of things. I mean, from me and Kevin, or I mean, whoever, Scott, everybody's wrote another page in the rule book. But yeah, like we made the left rear suspension actually have 2 different suspensions where, like, it would move twice instead of just once. It's hard to explain, but anyway, just body wise, every time we see a little gray area, we push that till it's black, and then they make another rule on it. So
Yeah. Was it like an accel and decel deal? Like acceleration and decel, like a third link they run? Or I'm like super intrigued on 2 different left rear suspensions. We're getting a little weeds a little bit.
I'm assuming it kind of locked itself in, so it just sat up on the bars, right?
well, it did, but yet once it got up on the bars and it got really tall, and then it had compliance at that point, so it actually started moving
So
again.
it was like 2 different steps. Wow.
Yeah.
That's some
It's like a
trick stuff.
2-step.
Yeah, like a 2-step.
Well, I can assure you, this Cup car, I wonder what the power to weight ratio. What's a dirt car weigh
2350,
with 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower?
950. Yeah.
Way more grip though.
Way more grip, but way lighter. You probably what was the track record of Bristol in dirt car? Do you know off the top of your head?
It was in the 15s.
It's gonna feel like you're putting around there in that
I'm
damn
sure.
heavy taxi cab. I'm
might-
excited to race with you.
Might want to get a street stock ride at Bulls Gap to get ready for this deal.
That's
right.
probably more like what it's going to drive like.
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
doubt.
Are you
Yeah.
excited about it?
Yeah, I'm just excited for the opportunity and the challenge.
Yeah. Who is there somebody that, like, you're looking forward to race against? Like, you a fan of anybody on the Cup side? Not really.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I quit watching Cup racing probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. When I was little, I used to be all into it, and that's what we did every Sunday. But now I'm gone so much from home, and Sunday's my traveling day or sleeping day. I'm either at the airport, or I'm driving, or I've drove all night, and I want to sleep. I don't want to sit there and look at the TV, or I want to go be with my son or my wife or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
They coming to the race this weekend?
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, you've been gracious enough with your time. But before you leave, we got 3 questions we ask all of our guests. You ready?
Sure.
All right. Question number 1. If you had to pick one race car and one racetrack to race out the rest of your life, what do you pick?
Dirt late model at Eldora.
What year of a late model? Like current?
Yeah, by far. They're the coolest looking, fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the quickest anybody ever answered that question.
No question asked. Everybody's like, well, that's kind of a good question. Think about it. You had it. Boom.
No, I would love to buy some parking spot and be my own parking spot at Eldora. If Tony would sell me a little bit of land, I'd build me a shop right there. That'd be mine right there.
What do you just have a good feel for it? What is it about Eldora?
I just love that place. Yeah, I got a good feel for it. I kind of understand it. It's like you got to have a good car there, but you got to be smart. You got to outsmart the guys too, because it's a long race. Well, not as long as we're about to do, but
yeah, 100 laps of dirt.
100 laps at Eldora is a long race, I feel like. But that's another thing that I don't know about. I've never ran a race that's going to be this long, so try to stay focused for that long. It's definitely going to be different. But yeah, Eldora just fits me.
He said parking spot at Eldora. That brought up the memory of I think it's still there. DW had a parking spot at Bristol, like in the DO lot. Like It was
Really?
literally like this spot is Darrell Waltrip's. I wonder if it's there.
I remember when we went
go-
to like Tioga Speedway in New York, they had Richie Evans' spot. It was like all flower bed. Like this was his spot.
Really?
Nobody parks there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'll reach out to Tony this weekend and see if he can give you a spot up at Eldora. We'll get you down. Question number 2. What's the most embarrassed you've been at a racetrack?
Larson's was when he won that race against with you guys and then spun it out and nosed it in the fence.
It
It was like the week
wouldn't
after,
everybody?
but that was his.
That would be bad.
Where was that?
That was
Isles?
Golden Isles. Yeah,
Okay.
that was this year. Yeah, I was about embarrassed as him the whole weekend how bad we ran. I would say back to ASA, ASL, whatever. Was on the front stretch. They did driver introductions, whatever, and I don't know why, but I put my car in gear. I guess it was rolling. When we went, hey, gentlemen, start your engines. I fired it up and knocked the out of the guy in front of me. Yeah.
That's a great story. Who was? Remember who it was you ran into?
Nah, I have no idea.
Were you able to like pull the fenders out and?
Oh yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it didn't really hurt it too bad, but it was just like, damn, what an idiot.
What track were you at?
Maybe it was I-96. I can remember like it was a small, little rough place, but I think it was I don't know, some kind of interstate track.
I mean, if there's anybody in the world that actually has raced 10,000 races, like
It's
Denny
him.
Hamlin said, it's probably you.
10,000 racetracks.
Yeah, like so many free. I mean, how many shows? What's the most amount of shows you've done in a year?
The most probably 110, 12, somewhere in there.
It's a lot of racing, man.
We averaged 90, I would say, pretty
That's
easily.
a lot of freaking racing. That's a lot of racing. Last question: if you had to forget every racing memory you've ever had and just keep one, what do you keep?
Probably my first World 100 win, I would say. That's
Not the million?
no, I don't think so. I mean, obviously there's so many of them, but just the way the World 100 after we almost won the Dream and Scott was light, so we did win, and that was my first crown jewel. And then we came back, and it was a bad weekend. We got in a wreck in the heat race and had to start way back in the field and come back and just really dominated that race, won by over 10 seconds, and just kind of put explanation on getting a free one, a couple months before.
Got a lot of dubs since then too.
Got a few of them, yeah.
You're going to be hunting for one this weekend, 2 of them this weekend in the Truck Series.
Well,
and
L3, he's running Bulls Gap, too.
he is running Bulls Gap, too. I mean, like you said, them Cup drivers come on his turf, too, so they're going to head for a long night.
Another fun point, the most embarrassed, William Byron answered that question, most embarrassed he ever was at that race last year.
Yeah.
He said
Whose
that-
car did you drive last year? Were you there last year?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
He said somebody come up and smacked him around a little bit.
Yeah, he drove into somebody, didn't even know, like he chopped somebody or something.
He's like, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just getting hit.
Is there like a B main for it, or is it just like
Sure.
24 guys? Okay, it's open.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
about-
there'll be, that's probably 40 to 50 cars there, I'd say.
How far is that from Bristol?
Probably 30, 45 minutes.
Might have to ride on up.
Yeah.
It's
Might have
not,
to ride on up on
I
Thursday.
don't think it's too far, no.
Maybe if I can convince the wife to ride over there.
Hey, I'm going to be in Dollywood. I might cruise over there myself.
Yeah.
Don't
Well-
bring your bus, it'll get dirty.
Yeah, I'll drive the old tow vehicle over there.
Yep.
There you go. Jonathan Davenport, best of luck to you in your Cup debut, buddy. It's going to be fun to bang some fenders with you.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and like I said, I hate it, but I've never really watched this or listened to it. But I figure since you had me on, I had to bring you something, right?
You bring me a penny?
I brought you a penny.
My man.
I mean, does that what everybody guest does?
No.
No.
Generally, I just try to validate their parking ticket. That son of a is shiny, too.
Ooh.
Dang, 2022. Look at that.
Just keep stacking them up, brother.
One at a time. Come in bearing gifts. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Have good luck this weekend.
Thank you, sir.